Hi everyone, this is Rod Hodgman from Avoka, Vice President of Marketing. Thanks for joining us today for our second webinar in the series. Joining me today on this webinar is Jeff Kalicki. So let's get started. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We just did the introduction. We're going to look at some industry forces that are driving the transition to smart mobile devices, that are driving the transition from PDF, paper, electronic static forms to SmartForms. We're going to look briefly at Avoka Transact. We're going to get into the demonstration, and it'll take us about 15 minutes to get to the demonstration, and then we'll move into Q&A. Okay, so let's look at the industry forces. There are really two forces working to fundamentally change mobile data capture: the transition to smart devices and the transition from PDF or other static forms to SmartForm applications. Let's look at each of these transitions and their impact on field mobility. First, we're going to start with mobile. Smart mobile devices are becoming the dominant point of entry to websites and to business processes. In 2013, there will be more mobile internet users than desktop users. Shipments of tablets and smartphones will also exceed 1 billion units in 2013. The result? Well, while it took 22 years for the first 2 billion people to connect to the internet, the next 2 billion users will be online in 5 years, and most of them will be mobile. And that has significant implications. In the area of devices, it means that the dominant device is going to transition from desktop and laptops to tablets and smartphones. That means user interfaces are going to transition from the keyboard and mouse metaphor to touch, voice, and gesture. Operating systems will transition from Windows to iOS and Android and Windows 8. Connectivity will change from occasionally connected when you're at your laptop or at your desktop to always connected with the device that's usually with you or most often in your pocket. And in the subject area that we're going to talk today, in the area of interactive forms, what it means is we're transitioning from XFA PDF, Adobe's XFA PDF, to HTML5. It was just a few short years ago that XFA PDF was the gold standard for delivering interactive forms across desktop and laptop and all browsers. And today, that doesn't work because of the mobile devices. And so the entire industry is transitioning to deliver the same sort of expressive, engaging, interactive experiences using HTML5, which will run on every device. And in the area of transactions, being able to conduct these transactions online, we like to call static PDFs or static electronic forms in paper analog experiences. They're experiences that aren't available to run on your tablet or your smartphone. You have to actually get a pencil and get a paper or a pen and fill out the form. Or maybe you could fill it out online, but most likely it doesn't have intelligence built into the form, so you're going to get a lot of errors and missing information that's going to be cleaned up. To an all-digital experience that's intelligent and interactive, will guide the user successfully through the product process, and through validations and mandatory field will give you clean information. I'm going to focus on the growth of tablets. Tablets are on an amazing growth trajectory. It's primarily the tablets that are going to transform mobile data collection because of the form factor, and they're growing, faster than any other device we've seen introduced into the market, and there's lots of good reasons for that. Some of those are listed here. Some of the things that make them so popular include the fact that they are, incredibly low cost, costing between $500 to $900 per device. They turn on instantly. They have all-day battery life. They're lightweight, on average weighing in at about 1 to 1.5 pounds. They provide wireless or 4G connectivity. They're incredibly easy to use, and they're easy to share with others. Now let's turn our attention over to SmartForms. So there's been a big evolution here in the last 10 years. The first generation was certainly paper, and maybe some of you are still using paper today, and that was picked up by the mobile field worker in the office, filled in by pen and pencil, and brought to the depot or mailed back to the organization. Extremely costly and inefficient. The next generation is the PDF, Excel, Word, or other digital form that could possibly be filled in on the laptop, but usually lacked intelligence in terms of validations and mandatory fields and business logic. And the lack of that intelligence prevented it from having a transformational impact on cost, data quality, or process improvements. So frankly, it's just about as costly and inefficient as paper. And the current generation is SmartForm applications. That's right, I said applications. Automating complex business transactions in a way that ensures that mobile users can successfully complete the process with clean data requires client-side application logic that delivers an interactive and intelligent user experience across all devices. Let's look more deeply at SmartForm applications. So SmartForm applications provide the user interaction patterns and the user experiences needed to successfully guide someone through a complex data collection process. These are just some of the features that we mean when we say SmartForms are intelligent and interactive. And they provide the user interaction patterns and that make mobile field data collection simple, easy, error-free for your mobile field terms. And you'll see a lot of this in the demo today. This is just a slice of what I put on the slide, and as Jeff goes through the demo, you're going to see everything that we have to offer to make it efficient and error-free to collect this information. So what's the payoff? The payoff is significant. So replacing an analog experience with a digital experience yields incredible cost savings, significant increases in data quality, significant increases in the efficiency of your mobile workers, and shortened process cycles. So our estimates, we always tell customers, if you're using some sort of form that doesn't have mandatory fields and intelligent and business logic, it costs you on average somewhere between $5 and $50 to process. And that number we got from Forrester, who did some analysis on what it took to be able to, clean up these situations and get humans involved in the process to collect the information. Whereas with a SmartForm interaction, it costs a penny or 10 cents to process these. So if your organization is doing, say, 250 SmartForms a day, then the cost savings that are going to accrue to you are going to be over $2 million a year. So it's absolutely substantial. But what I like to do is show this slide. I showed it in the webinar we did 2 weeks ago. And so here's some third-party cost information. So at the top of my screen here, you can see this URL, and you can use this and go to the site yourself, http://transactionexplorer.cabinetoffice.gov.uk. And so this is a really fascinating site where they're going through and documenting all of the transactions that they have, that they offer their citizens, and for probably 30% of those transactions, the cost of delivering those transactions. And if you go dig into the spreadsheets and you look at that information, you'll find that their average cost per transaction is $33. So I encourage you to go over there and check it out if you're really trying to understand what it's costing you from using delivering an analog experience to a mobile field worker. So what's the problem? If tablets and smart mobile devices are ideal for field workers and paper and static forms are inefficient and error-prone, why are we still here? Why are we still using them? And the answer is organizations have not had the ability to quickly and cost-effectively create and deploy and manage mobile digital transactions. So there's the interaction patterns, there's the user experience, there's the mobile devices, all of that comes together, which has made it very hard for organizations to develop these applications, and it's as a result, they've only done very few of these. The most high-valued and high-used customer or mobile field worker applications get automated. And one of that reasons that happens is because mobile is really hard. There's a whole new world that everyone is scrambling to get up to speed on. There are new technologies to deal with, multiple screen sizes, new interaction models that focus on touch rather than a mouse and a keyboard, and a whole new set of skills that are needed in order to make the transition. And the other thing is SmartForm applications that enable organizations to gather the information they need to support any business process are hard to create. They're mini applications, and they must support all the elements that any business application would need. And some of those would include security, data validation, signatures, presentation logic, business rules, integration to payment systems, device integration so that you can use the camera, the gallery, the GPS coordinates, and integration with your back-end systems, just to name a few. And lastly, internal development is costly, lengthy, and risky. I think we can all agree with that, right? Most internal mobile data capture development efforts are completed under scope and well beyond schedule. That's many times when we're called in. That's how we know this. Almost all development projects are expensive, but these kind of mobile data capture applications require unique, and by unique you can read expensive, user interface and user experience skills that many IT departments lack. And the risk is skill risks. Having the mobile knowledge and the best practices are very rare in most in-house development environments, and so that leads to quality issues, and it leads to the length of the deployment of the ultimate solution, and ultimately it leads to cost increases. So we need a new way, and that way is Avoka Transact. Transact is a feature-rich, enterprise-grade platform that is designed to meet the demanding needs of large organizations. It allows users with no programming skills to quickly build powerful HTML, HTML5, or PDMF-based data collection applications that not only work on any device, they're optimized for every device. It also gives IT everything they need to control and manage the environment. One of the nice attributes of Avoka Transact is that it's not an all or nothing proposition. If you're using laptops in the field today, we can deliver SmartForms to those devices so you get all the benefits of the cost and process improvements and data quality improvements that we talked about earlier while you migrate to tablets over time. That's a very common occurrence for our customers. So Avoka Transact has everything we've learned from hundreds of man years of development to make mobile data collection easy, simple, and make internal development simply unnecessary. Here's some of our customer examples. We've worked with utilities companies that have outfitted their field workers to collect information in the field with SmartForms. Field inspections for property insurance underwriting, where the inspectors have to go on site to do commercial property inspections to gather a lot of information so that they can optimize the underwriting decision and come up with the price for the insurance. We're working with large pharmaceutical companies to empower their sales reps to be able to file adverse drug reactions in the field so that they can speed that process and accelerate that business process. And another example is human services that need to report on service delivery quickly and efficiently out on the field. So we're working with organizations that are allowing their sales force to be able to collect data more efficiently and at lower cost, and their field force to do the same thing. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand it over to Jeff, and we're going to get into the demonstration of the project. I told you that would take 15 minutes, and it took 14, so we're in pretty good shape.